San Diego State.
All right, normal week. Play on Saturday, so it's good to get back on that schedule. Guys came back in on Sunday, did their work, watched the film, graded it, learned from it, and back to applying what we learned into this week of prep. Now we're into conference play, and our schedule changes moving forward as far as just normal Saturdays. Open up on the road again, so back-to-back weeks. And I thought last week, just reviewing the game and going back, I thought our guys did a great job of just handling the environment. It's always hard to play at BYU, and they did a really good job. I thought Bryan Harsin, after watching it, played well and stepped up and did what he had to do. So that's got to carry over this week into what we do in our preparation and obviously on the road again. So open it for questions.
Well, I guess when we're talking about San Diego State, probably start off with Rashad Penny. What impresses you most about what he does? I mean, the guy, good kick returner, maybe one of the best, and also probably one of the best running backs in the country.
Yeah, he's got more rushing yards than 82 Division I teams, so that's pretty impressive. He's a good football player. He runs hard. I think the guys in front of him do a really good job. He's one of those good football players that, the tailback position, when you have a guy that can make guys miss, it's not always clean. It's not always blocked perfectly for him, but he's able to make somebody miss. He's able to break a tackle. He's able to sometimes bounce a play that's supposed to hit inside. He's got really good vision. He runs physical. He runs hard, and it shows. And I think he's been really consistent. That's one of the things that stands out to me. He's really consistent in every single game you watch. I think how he goes out there and plays and his style, you see it throughout each game. And he's a guy that we certainly have to make sure that if we get a chance to tackle him, we got to wrap up. You got to get 2 or 3 guys to him, and you got to be physical at the point of attack with him.
Bryan, you mentioned Bryan Harsin. Are you expecting him to be slotted in there again this week?
Yeah, we'll see where Mason's at through this week. If he's able to get back out there and do some things, we'll know a little bit more tonight when we talk about the injuries and then get ourselves back into practice on Tuesday. But I like what Garrett did. Garrett got put into that position. Garrett had to move around, from guard. We took him out of guard. We put him back in at center. Felt like he was the best option. And, for those 2 weeks of prep, just snapping the football, getting ready for that. I mean, just the little things, doing it with a silent cadence. I thought our run game, it showed up. I thought we were physical when we ran the ball. I thought our guys up front in the O-line played fast and did exactly what we asked them to do. And I thought Garrett was a big part of that. So, sometimes opportunities like that, guys take advantage of it, and he did. Now, as we move into this week of practice, right now, I don't see any changes from that standpoint, so see him rolling out there, and then we'll kind of see where we're at throughout the week.
How crucial was the run game? And you guys had only 2 tackles for loss against you, which was like your fewest in like 2 years. You were really good on third downs, and just overall your ability to kind of stay on course. How much did that kind of impact the offense?
Yeah. Well, I think you look at, we're talking about San Diego State, who we're playing this week. They stay on schedule. They're able to run the ball on first and second down. I thought that was the key for us. We're able to run the ball. We didn't have a negative play. It's amazing on 1st and 10 when you get positive yards, how much easier it is to call plays and go out there and put yourself in more manageable situations, third down. And we had less 3rd and 11 pluses than we had in a while, and that was part of it. Makes sense, right? That's what you want to do. But I think it all started with the way that the O-line played, the way the tight ends played, the way the running backs ran the football. It was physical. It was downhill. And when you do that, you're not always going to get a home run, but you're going to get 3-4 yards, sometimes 5. And as the game went on, you could see that we were getting 8, 9, 10 in some of those situations when we could run the ball, and we felt like we could run the ball, and they knew we were going to run the ball. So it really comes down to that. I think there's got to be some more balance in there as well, but when you have success on first down and you put yourself into a manageable third down by staying on schedule, then you're probably going to have a good third down percentage like we did. You're going to be less negative plays or negative yards early on like we did, and you're going to be a lot more productive. So it's really comes down to, I thought the play selection, in the early downs was good, and we were letting our guys kind of come off the ball and do what we had practiced, and it showed up.
This game against San Diego State, I mean, even at media days, there was a lot of talk about this game and being back on the schedule and stuff. I mean, what fans been looking forward to this for a couple of years, with them winning the conference the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
How much have you guys been kind of looking forward to playing them again?
Yeah, well, we looked forward to them 2 years ago, and I knew when I came in here they had played him. And Boise had lost to him at that time, and we came back in the second half and beat them. So I've had the one experience playing these guys. I know they've done well, and they've certainly got some really good things on the offensive side, defensive side, special teams. This is a well-rounded football team. This is not just Rashad Penny in the offense. He's a really good football player, but you look at their defense. They've got 17 sacks, 8 INTs. They're number 12 in turnover margin. They've got 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this year already. They're 10th in the country. This is a very balanced team. I thought when we played them a couple years ago, they were that way as well. And we just came out and we played physical. We beat them. And that's really the key to the game. It's amazing, for our football team, when we play hard, we play physical. We go out there and we don't have many mistakes, which, offensively before we had, probably we call them critical errors, about 14, and we had 6 in the last game. So we eliminated a lot of those little things that come up that you really can't control. And when you do that, I think our football team can play really well. And I think our football team is really good. And we showed a lot of that, even in that Washington State game. We played fast. So getting the chance to play these guys, I think it's a really good opportunity for us. They're really good at what they do. We have to be really good at what we do when we go play them. And if we can continue to keep playing like we've done, or like we did, I should say, in this last game, then we put ourselves in a position to go out there and play our best football, which we need to.
It's an interesting, I don't want to say rivalry. I mean, you don't play them every year, but you haven't played them since your first season. But even leading up to the game, there was some chatter from things, and you even had some things to say after that game about it. What's it like, just knowing San Diego State's the same conference? You don't play them that much, but there's still a rivalry aspect or something. How would you kind of describe it?
Yeah, I think every week's rivalry week for us. That's just a mindset. You're going to play. You're going to get everybody's best. I hope we give our best every single time we play. San Diego State's a good football team. I think when we go out there and do what we're capable of doing, we're a good football team. And, there's just been – it's kind of been beaten up. Just some silly things that have been said, we got to go out there and put the pads on and go play on Saturday night. And right now we're focused on Monday. We're focused on getting ready for our Tuesday practice, getting the right plays in, getting the right guys dialed in, getting our meetings set up. We're going to go back to exactly what we talked about previously about having great meetings, going out to practice, having great practices, doing the things that we can control so when we show up on Saturday and play, hopefully all that work shows up and we're able to win the game. But, make no doubt about it. Our guys are excited, to get back on to practice and to go play. They're going to play a good football team, and this is our opportunity to go out there. And we don't play them every year, but these guys have won a championship, so go out there and play our best football and hopefully put ourselves in a position to win the game.
About their quarterback, Chapman, you look at his numbers and they're not really gaudy. They don't ask him to make a lot of spectacular plays, but what do you see in him? His record for receptions is extremely low, and his record for winning obviously is pretty high. So what makes him good? What will make him a challenge?
Well, I see that he's a winner. Yeah, I really the other statistical stuff. They run the ball, and then against UNLV they take a tailback and motion him out, and then they take a 3-step drop and they run him, and he scores a touchdown. So, I think he's doing what they're asking him to do. I think he can throw it. I think he makes good decisions. From a pure quarterback standpoint, he's a challenge. And certainly feel like, any quarterback that goes out there and leads his team and you put yourself in a position to win games, you're a good quarterback. So maybe he doesn't have all the numbers to back it up, but I think any quarterback would say they take the W's over the stats at any time. So I think he's very solid in everything he does. I think he's got the capabilities of getting back in the gun and throwing the ball down the field and leading. He's done that before, 2-minute drives and so on. So he's a threat like everyone else, on their football team. You got to defend him.
First of all, to follow up on that thing about critical errors, I wonder if you could define what it is you guys consider a critical error.
Mm-hmm.
Meant to get to this last week and just didn't have a chance, but there's been so much talk in football the last couple of weeks about the protests in the NFL and obviously the social issues that go with that. You guys aren't out there for anthems, but I know you guys deal with kind of beyond football stuff. Have you guys talked about that at all as a team or with your players about kind of the issues that are going on there and kind of things to learn from it?
Sure. Well, the critical errors. Critical errors are your false starts, any penalties, really on the offensive side. And holding's always subjective, but any penalties, any drops, anything that really affects our offense that we can control is what it comes down to. Sacks are included in that. Negative plays are included in that. So we kind of have our own little definition of critical errors, and we look at it. We always have the mental errors. Every game, every coach goes through that, which there's always going to be those things. That's a team's trying to attack you. You're not going to be perfect, but you're just looking at how you can limit that. And we were pretty good. As a team, I thought we were the most physical when we played. We limited our mental errors. We limited the critical errors. We won the field position battle. We won the third down situations. And so, all those things show up. Stats, they just give you an idea of where you stand and really what you need to emphasize. The bottom line is winning the game when it's all said and done. But the stats can tell you what you need to emphasize and get better at through the next week of prep from the game. As far as all the social issues and things like that, yeah, we talk about it. What we talk about in here is how these guys, number one, it's about the guys in this room, what we can control. And we have 105 guys. We're in a position that we get to go out there and play a game and coach a game that people watch. And we get to go out there and show togetherness by how we play. Doesn't always mean you win or lose, but you can show that what teamwork is. All right, there's a good picture of that. And so number one, we can start with that. We can start with unity within this building. Number one. Number two is, how do you actually make change? How do you actually do something? When you're a young person, I think there's a lot of emotion and not a lot of idea of how to make a difference. And so we just talk about, what that is. How people have done it before. Maybe here's an opportunity to start something, or as you ever get into a position in your life and you have a chance, maybe when you're in this position, you can do something with it. And to start giving them ideas of how, to follow what they believe in. And it really comes down to that. So it's not really anything in particular. It's really just about what they're doing right now. They obviously love the game of football. They have other passions and things like that. We'll take that. The game will end someday, so when all the cheering stops, how are you going to take that same emotion and apply it to something that can make a difference beyond the game? And that's been a lot of our talks for quite a few years, is just using what we learned here and applying it to real life or things that we believe in or relationships that we're in, and using that not just in the game, but using it in everyday, every life situations. So it's been more about that. And, I think right now, one of the things I think we all agree with is, just in society and in teams and all that, we need to be unified. I think everybody wants that. They just don't know how to do it yet. But we all know it, and you just have to start. You just have to start, and then you gotta have people come along with you. It's the biggest thing.
Do you have an example you like to use with the guys?
Not anything necessarily in particular. There's a lot of examples for us, but no, I think there's a lot of examples historically, of people that have done things that aren't necessarily the norm. They didn't follow the crowd. They went out there and they believed in whatever it is they were doing. And so we talk about examples like that. So some different historical things is why and what the difference was made because of it. And, you know, we try to let those guys just see that. I think now, you know, there's been so much in history that has happened, has changed so many things. And right now there's been some crazy things that have happened. You know, everybody sees that, and we all know there needs to be something that comes from it. There's got to be some good. There's got to be something that we learn from it. And, you know, right now I think everybody's kind of searching for that. You know, and part of that is leadership. Part of that is you know, what you can control. And I hope our team understands that within this building here, we can control everything we do. We can control how we respond. We can control the challenges we face. And hopefully if we're doing that right, then the guys in here, the people in this building, that's going to carry over outside of this building, and it's maybe going to inspire some people to see, you know, maybe how Boise State's doing it, and that might carry over into other things.
With you know, Rocky Long, just curious your relationship with him and your thoughts on him, and you mentioned kind of